A few nights ago, SummerSlam 2023 ended with Jey Uso turning on his brother Jey in the main event, leading to Roman Reigns retaining the titles once again. And when that super kick hit that basically sealed the match, it left a lot of wrestling fans feeling some type of way. You have fans on one side that are loving it, that were shocked when Jimmy pulled up and can't wait for the next chapter, but then you have the other side that feels like the Bloodline story has or is very close to jumping the shark. Jumping the shark is defined as when a television series or a movie reaches a point at which far-fetched events are included merely for the sake of novelty, indicative of a decline in quality. And I'll be honest, I was sitting there in the stadium, I was watching the match, and when Jimmy pulled up and did the deed, I said to myself, of course. For me, the ending definitely left a weird taste in my mouth, and as time has gone by, I have accepted it and I do see the potential in what they're possibly going to do. I would be an idiot if I didn't, but I can't help but feel the ending of SummerSlam was just not it. To me, the moment it happened, it just seemed like the company was doing a plot twist just to do a plot twist. They wanted to create cinema again. They wanted to have this crazy swerve that no one saw coming, this super dramatic thing, some Game of Thrones type shit. But instead, most people were just like, okay. It was an ending for a lot of people that just did not make logical sense. Jey Uso was the one who turned on Roman a few months ago. Jey Uso was the one who convinced Jey to join him against Roman, and after an amazing Civil War match in which the two brothers finally beat Roman Reigns, which was a huge feel-good moment, a moment where it felt like the storyline was coming full circle, where the good guys for once in a Roman Reigns storyline actually prevailed, and after Roman destroys Jimmy later that month and sends him to the hospital, it's like, why is Jimmy the one turning on his brother? The moment it happened, it just came off as such an unnecessary plot twist, a swerve for the sake of swerve. And as time has gone by, theories have popped up on where the storyline might go, theories on why Jimmy turned on his brother, and the most popular one is the simplest one, and that's Jimmy was just jealous of his brother Jey. Now, of course, they can easily make this a storyline, and it will probably be the one they go with, that Jimmy was jealous of Jey, that he didn't want to be below Jey, and that he doesn't want Jey to be the tribal chief. That's easy, the storyline writes itself. But in my opinion, that doesn't change the fact that it just kind of comes off as lazy. And this is where these plot holes appear that just make the idea of Jimmy turning on his brother seem even more unnecessary and goofy. It just doesn't seem like logical storytelling. Just because you could tell the story of Jimmy being jealous storyline doesn't mean you should. Instead, by doing this plot twist, it feels like the story is going backwards, like we're regressing. To me, it really devalues how special the Civil War match was just a month ago, because now it's like, well, that didn't really matter, did it? And that's kind of what happens when you're trying your best to prolong something. Eventually there comes a point where you will run into a circle. That was my instant reaction, and I do still feel like that, but I also understand that the storyline is still going to work. It's still going to do really good numbers, and it's still going to be something that is engaging. It is wrestling. You can easily retcon something. You can easily force a narrative in your story and make it seem like it was the plan the whole time. And at the end of the day, we are going to get a Jimmy versus Jey feud. These are two guys that are legit stars that the fans love. They are now certified main eventers that can carry a show like SmackDown, and they can main event pay-per-views, and they are so talented that they can make this work, and they will make it work. No doubt about it. But I don't think that changes the fact that it was a pretty unnecessary and kind of a stupid plot twist. I think the main takeaway from this is that the WWE has to be very careful going forward with the Bloodline storyline. As of now, I wouldn't say they have jumped the shark. I don't think it's over. I don't think it's magically about to get bad or anything like that. But I would say there's only so many times you can leave bad taste in people's mouths before eventually the storyline stops hitting. There's only so many plot twists that you can do and heel turns and face turns you can do before it becomes uninteresting. I think to this day the decision of Cody losing to Roman and Roman getting those 1000 days as champion has booked them into a corner heavily. The reason why Jey can't beat Roman on a pay-per-view is because he's still champion. The reason you need to do another masked man surprise run-in bullshit ending to a Roman Reigns pay-per-view main event is because he's still the champion. And I think it goes back to the fact that they have done nothing since WrestleMania with the Bloodline that has required the WWE Championship. They could have ran this exact same storyline without Roman being champion, and if anything, it would have made a match like Jey versus Roman that much more interesting, because then there's actually a chance of Jey winning. Then you don't have to resort to the same run-in ending and do something something like this. I totally understand the decision to have Roman be champion for longer. I do see why they had a Roman win the main event of WrestleMania, I do, but if you're going to do something bold like that, if you want him to reach 1,000 days that bad, you gotta have better ideas for the entire next year than the same old championship match, run and ending, and a heel turn that nobody wants to see and is kind of illogical and forced. And I do think what they're gonna do with this feud will be interesting, and all of the people that are disinterested after SummerSlam in the Bloodline, I do think they're gonna come back around. It's no doubt still going to result in some fun drama, but the WWE has to start being more careful and more creative because there are signs of the storyline slowly becoming a mess. You got this heel turn that comes off super lazy, which also devalues a really special moment you just had a month ago, but it's also in the little things such as disregarding the rules of the whole tribal combat idea in the first place. Remember, the rules for the match at SummerSlam were under tribal combat rules, which means that no one from the family can interfere. The WWE specifically stated before the match that one of the few rules of tribal combat is that no one else is allowed to interfere until the match has reached a definitive ending. That means not only did Jimmy break the rules, but Solo did too, but the match just went on as usual. And it doesn't help that the match felt like every other Roman Reigns title match, just with some tables and some chairs, same ending, same pace, same everything. Those are some signs that they are getting kind of lazy, and I'm not saying it's the end of the world, no, not at all, but you gotta be a little more creative. You gotta kind of stick to what you're doing. You gotta keep pushing the needle. You can't just keep doing the same stuff over and over again. You can't keep regressing back to where you were before. The Bloodline storyline has been amazing, and so far everything has worked in its favor. The beginning was awesome with Jey and Roman, and then Jimmy came along, and then Sami Zayn came along, Solo coming along. Everything has worked out, and as a result, SmackDown is breaking record, views are up, business is booming, and it's clear that the Bloodline are money makers. But for it to remain the moneymaker, for fans to remain interested, for fans to not start looking at this like it's getting way too long and way too stupid and way too predictable, they gotta step up, they gotta put their foot on the gas, they gotta think outside the box, and they gotta make sure they don't let this slip away. They made a really bold decision and continued the Bloodline after WrestleMania, and they did the easy part. They got past the Usos splitting off and beating Roman Reigns. That was the easy part. Now it's the hard part. Now it's what do you do for the next 8 months leading to WrestleMania? You wanted to extend the Bloodline that bad? It's all good, we're down, we enjoyed Money in the Bank, we're cool, we're down for it. But you can't get lazy now because this is the most pivotal part. Let's see what happens.